All right, we're going to go and get it popping, man. I ain't playing no games today. I ain't forget all that welcome to the Striker Match podcast stuff.
What?
I said we ain't playing no games today. This is a serious conversation.
But you still gotta do an intro.
Welcome to the Striker Match podcast.
Don't yell at the people. Welcome to the Striker Match podcast. It's your girl, Klassi, Ladi, and this is J Hamp. Guys, don't beat J Hamp. It's a PSA announcement. Dang.
This J Hamp, they don't know.
Listen.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? I hope y'all had a great week. I hope y'all had a good week, you know. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all.
You keep playing, you're gonna be replaced like Paul Pierce.
Dang, Paul, that was
Too soon. Too soon.
Nah, it's not too soon. Cause that happened about a month ago.
Uh-huh.
That just wasn't smart.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Lakers fan, so it ain't no sweat off my back. Especially after he did that little stunt where he went out in the finals on the wheelchair and then came back in the fourth quarter and tore the Lakers up for like 7 more points. I'm like, man, Paul, I saw you was a DQ after that.
He liked to put on the show.
Drama queen.
He liked to put on the show. You so petty. What's going on with the people, though? Hope y'all been tuning in. Hope you've been sharing and making sure that you get in on the conversation. We got a lot to talk about, but we want to make sure that it's a community of us that's talking, that got something to say, you know?
Yeah, definitely appreciate everybody that's been like out there sharing the videos, liking the videos, commenting, reposting, all of that, you know, because that just gets, like I said, we're trying to build a community here, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how it be when y'all watch them YouTube videos and it just be kind of cringy sometimes. They be like, subscribe, share, I get it. But that's a part of it. Like if you're not liking and sharing, and it's not gonna get out. You know what I'm saying? The word we could have some gems sitting out there. They're just out there and nobody's hearing it. So repost, share, like all of that good stuff. That's what gets our message out there. That's what gets the show more notoriety and publicity and all that good stuff. But we about to be hitting y'all with some more stuff. But appreciate all of the loyal subscribers and listeners out there. We appreciate y'all. Can't do this without y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all the real MVP.
That part. So what we talking about, though? What we talking about today?
So now that we got all that out the way, today we talking about something that I don't care who you are. As far as I'm concerned, from what I've been seeing, it's the first thing that coming to mind when you walk in the barbershop, when you walk in the salon, when you at the cookout with your family, whatever. It's what everybody's talking about, and we're gonna call it C19.
C19.
Because I think if I'm not mistaken, I done seen a lot of people saying if you say the whole thing or something, it's like YouTube will trip you up.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for real.
Really? Because they gotta protect the propaganda.
I guess so. I don't know.
Oh.
They got to do something.
Okay. So we calling it C19, but it's the reason that the pandemic started in the first place.
Yeah, last year in March, as you all know, we was all chilling.
Man in our business, celebrating birthdays.
You got 2 March birthdays right here. We was all chilling, having a good time at the cookout.
Man.
Had the, the staples playing and electric sliding and doing all that.
Listen.
And then boom, everything just got shut down.
Like somebody pulled the plug from the DJ table. Skirt.
Yeah.
Pause.
And so, and everybody, and then and I'm gonna take a quick moment to be serious for a minute. Like, rest in power, rest in peace to all of the people who have lost their lives due to C19.
Absolutely.
Or anybody out there who has been affected by it in a negative way.
Yeah.
This conversation that we about to get into is not so much about proving whether it's real or it's not, or whether what you should do in regards to the vaccine as opposed to what you shouldn't do. I'm not a doctor. Klassi's not a doctor.
Right.
But the conversation we want to have in regards to C-19 is about a concern that we both see around like the blind trust that we have towards this government and this system that we know has had a history of oppressing us as black people and minorities.
Yeah.
And not just that blind trust, but we also want to talk about like how the fear and propaganda can play into things and really move you to do something that is just quite unnecessary. Just to be straight up.
Yeah.
You know, when you
totally
really think about it.
contrary to who you are.
Yeah, just totally contrary to who you are.
Yeah.
And so that's the conversation that we really want to have, you know.
So we just want to talk about C-19 and how our sisters and brothers have put a whole, and when I say our sisters and brothers, I'm talking about the melanin. I'm talking about the black folks.
Yeah, we talking about black people. Yeah, let's give it a bean. Like we talking about black folks.
We're talking about our people who have put a lot of trust into the vaccine and believing that now they can all of a sudden do all of these things because they have been vaccinated, which is basically clinical trials of test dummies.
Yeah.
Just to see what is going to happen, what the outcome will be because of the vaccine. They don't know whether or not that's going to stop the spread. They don't know if that's going to stop people from getting the virus. Of course, the vaccine does not have the live virus in it, so it's not really getting you immune to it. It's just giving you a vaccination as a protection.
Yeah, it's giving you a small portion of the dead cells of the virus,
that which means that your antibodies, your immune system is not fighting against it. It's just becoming immune to it.
Yeah. And let's talk. I mean, like I said, I don't want to get too much into the science of what a vaccine is, but I think we can all let's establish this one thing right here. A vaccine is not a cure.
Right.
You have a fever, you take some Tylenol, your fever goes down.
Right.
You have inflammation or swelling, you take some ibuprofen, the swelling goes down.
Right.
You have an upset stomach, you take some ginger or some Pepsi or something like that, it settles your stomach. There are certain things that happen with your body and you take something and it literally cures it. It literally goes away.
Your body. Yeah.
It alleviates the pain, not just treats the symptoms, right?
Yeah.
The vaccine, per science, in theory, is supposed to be something that it's introducing, like I said, a small enough portion of the disease, the virus, whatever, to create the antibodies or to stimulate your body to create the antibodies to fight it, right?
Right.
It's not a cure. So that means if you were walking around in May or June of last year,
right,
and everything kicked off, quote unquote, kicked off around March, right? Yeah. And you didn't have this, you were marching and moving off the strength of whatever was in your immune system at that time.
Already.
Before the idea of a vaccine was presented to you. Yeah. And so you was going to the grocery store. You might have been going to school. I think school was still open around then. By the time I made last year, right?
No, school was closed already. Okay. But yeah, you were going to the grocery store. You were going to the gas stations.
You were around people.
You were around people. Yeah, you were definitely still around people at the time. I don't think the shelter at home and all that stuff was like the end of March, mid-April type of deal. So for the most part, you were still around your loved ones. Yeah. You were still in congregating and getting together.
You were still going to church.
You were still going to church.
You were around people.
They hadn't closed at that time. So yeah. You were still living your life.
I was catching flights myself. You know what I'm saying? I was jumping on and off the jet. Yeah. So it's like what we trying to say and what we really trying to talk about and get to with this is, like I said, not to get into the we see it on the news every day. Yeah. And we talk about it. We see it. We become inundating with this, and it's like at some point you begin nauseous with it, right? Right. But the thing that is concerning to me as somebody who has elderly parents, as somebody who has people in my family that I love and care about, as somebody, as the listeners that I'm talking to y'all that I care about, whether I know you or don't know you, the thing that is alarming to me is, can somebody out there, one of the listeners, please tell me, given the history that we know in this country that we live in, whether you want to talk about the Tuskegee experiment, whether you want to talk about the sterilization of black women, whether you want to talk about how we arrived in this country in the first place as slaves on slave ships, forcibly removed from our home. We didn't migrate to this country like other minorities did for economic improvement. We were brought here against our free will.
Yeah.
Whether you want to talk about how we know bedside manner and different things like that is so different in hospitals and how we get treated when we go to the hospital. Whether you want to talk about the quality of care we receive at the hospitals. Whether you want to talk about Planned Parenthoods being in our neighborhoods and things like that, and being marketed more towards minorities than there are to our peers, our white peers. Whether we want to talk about the old prescription of birth control pills and things like that and the negative effect that we know that has on black women and the fertility, not just the fertility of our women, but the overall health impacts as a whole.
Yeah.
We can go on and on and on about the different factual things that we know are out there concerning how the healthcare system, which is a part of the overall system, how that system has been neglectful to us and been not and basically in opposition to us in a sense. I won't even just say neglectful. I would say in opposition to what's beneficial to us as a people. So I need somebody to help me understand why is it now that we should just have this outward trust, this full trust, like the trust that a baby has for a parent because they don't know any better. They don't have anybody else to lean on. Why do we have so much trust towards what they're telling us to do? And what is it about it? I want you to think about this. If you don't do nothing else by the end of this show, what is it, based off giving all that information and what we know and what you heard from your parents and your grandparents and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
What is it that A, makes you feel so fearful in the first place from when this all was going down? And B, what is it about this vaccine that now makes you feel so emboldened and have this liquid courage to go out and just move now? What is it?
Liquid courage. Yo, say that again.
Because that's it's like liquid courage.
Like
I mean, no pun intended. Like,
it's like they outside now passing the water bottle off Space Jam.
For
Get
real.
some of this, and now you just in beast mode. Like, I can go outside, I can travel, I can be around my people now. I cannot wear a mask and all da, right? Because that is the assumption that people have. The assumption is that now that they've got the vaccine,
right,
they can now go outside more. They can be in large groups again.
They feel safer.
We
can go back to church. We can go back to work.
Right.
You know.
Right. And all like Hamp was saying, all we're trying to do is put it in the forefront of your mind to really consider and think about exactly how this vaccine has now given you false relief. Let's call it that. False relief.
Yeah.
That now things can go back to quote unquote normal. And the CDC and every news outlet is still making sure that they let you know.
You got to wear a mask.
You still have to wear a mask.
You still got to social distance.
The
vaccine will not prevent you from getting COVID.
Right.
They have come out and said that, right?
Yeah.
So when you say all those things, it's like, for me, it's like telling me I'm about to go swimming and I'm thinking about getting a life jacket.
Right.
And somebody tell me, well, you can wear this life jacket, but it's not going to prevent you from drowning. You can still drown. I'm like, well, what's the point of me putting on the life jacket then? Something is not making logical sense to me. And as somebody who has a degree in computer information systems and my whole career has taught me to be 100 logic and remove how I feel about stuff out of it.
Right.
We, like I said, do it. We not trying to convince nobody one way or another. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
Klassi not a doctor. Do what makes you feel comfortable at the end of the day.
Right.
But we gotta begin to ask ourselves some questions, man.
Yeah, it's necessary.
We gotta ask ourselves some questions about different things to begin to like think a little more critically about what's going on and what we see out here, because it's alarming to me knowing how it's like we know we have this distrust like for the the judicial system.
Yeah.
We have a blatant distrust for the criminal justice system, and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
We experience discrimination in the housing area of housing, in all the different areas of life, whether it be housing, law, labor, politics, sex, education, all of those different areas of life, right?
Yeah.
But it's sometimes it just feels like it's something about the healthcare area of life where we think we can separate healthcare, and that white supremacy and racism is not in healthcare at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. Like it, you know.
It's crazy, but it's also ridiculous. Like it's
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous to think that this vaccine that they are pushing upon people, that they are
$100
that they are incentivizing you to take it.
$100
Think about
3 day off.
Think about the shots that you knew you had to get in order to keep prevent you from catching something. Nobody had to twist your arm, pull your ear, except the doctor giving you a sucker afterwards, because as a kid it may have hurt, but nobody was twisting your arm and trying to trick you and force you into getting these shots that you knew you needed.
Right.
When people want the flu shot, guess what? They make the decision to get the flu shot. It's just that simple.
Yep.
They don't need nobody to say, "Oh, you're gonna get $100 gift card if you go ahead and take this." "Oh, we'll give you a free day off work if you take this."
You get a free pint of beer at this brewery. I seen that
at a brewery. They didn't open the brewery up where you can now get the vaccine there, and they give you a voucher to come back for a whole pint.
A whole pint.
Wow.
Get you a pint of beer, you get the vaccine.
Wow.
All of the lobbying they doing to get the churches to open up their doors as vaccine centers,
right? And then forcing in front of us different leaders and officials as if we're supposed to do what they doing. Like we idolize people that much. Oh, did you see the president get it? Did you see the vice president get it? Oh,
did you see this superstar athlete
get it? Did you see your favorite
get it?
Basketball player get it?
Yo, you should feel insulted by that. If you have any sense of dignity and self-worth about yourself as a man or a woman, you should feel insulted by that, yo. That they basically saying, if we put this person in front of you taking it,
right,
that means that should then translate to you feeling comfortable, as if you are not a rational adult that's able to ask questions to get an answer that you need to get to, and reason within your mind based off of the research and the data,
right, to make
whether
your own
or not
decision.
This is a good decision medically for you and your family.
Right.
No, I'm gonna just post superstar X or celebrity B or community leader A in front of you, and that's it. That should insult you. That should insult you just as much as somebody spitting on you. Yeah. Because they are degrading your level of reasoning to a child, to lower than a child, for real.
Yeah, your ability to make your own decisions and choices, and then stand boldly in it to be like, okay, this is what's gonna work for me in my house, not because the celebrity was put in front of me, not because I saw such and such get a shot on the news, not because Pastor X, Y, and Z said he gonna open up the church and now everybody can come and get a vaccine there. That shouldn't be the reason as to why we just now all standing in line making appointments to get this vaccine. Like, let's be real. Right. You owe yourself more than that to be like, this may not be the best decision for us right now. I don't know if there's enough data out there that shows that what the consequences or repercussions are.
This was kind of rushed.
This was rushed. This was
rolled out kind of fast.
Yeah.
Just asking the questions. You know?
And not even not to mention, let's be real, Johnson & Johnson couldn't get baby powder right. Now we're going to trust them with a vaccine.
And wasn't Johnson & Johnson the first one that they had to suspend?
Yes. The first one that they had to suspend. You know why? Because it is all clinical trials. It's trial and error. They are practicing.
They're practicing on us, y'all. They're practicing on us.
They're trying to see what your body does, what reactions you have, how you respond to it. I can even remember, I think we were getting ready to travel like a couple of months ago, and the number of vaccinations in Houston had went up so high that it seemed like the governor was like, okay, next Friday, we're going to make sure that you guys don't have to wear masks anymore.
Yeah, they removed the mask mandate in Texas. I remember that.
Texas. Basically making it seem as though now that all of these people have gotten the vaccination, you take your mask off. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, and when we was in Houston, some people was walking around with the mask. Some didn't have it.
Weren't.
Seemed like most people had their mask on because I guess they wasn't trusting it. But it's just how can you have, like, these are the questions you got to ask yourself. How is it 2 states out of 50 that's just doing their own thing? And don't hit me with this federal law and state law. Don't hit me with all that. Let's get away from all that left, right, partisan, Democratic, Republic. Get away from all that. Yeah. Ask yourself logically.
Yeah.
If the thing is as dangerous as they making it out to be, and all this other stuff, that don't make sense, guys. It doesn't make sense for there to just be this one outlier that's doing something that's way aside from what the agreed, standardized, and centralized approach is going to be for the whole country. To in response to this. You see what I'm saying? That don't make sense. And the thing I feel like that's the thing that just really bothers me, especially for my people that I love and care about. It's like I feel like people are really not even sitting down and just really asking themselves and taking the time to ask themselves, does this make sense what I'm doing right now?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, does this even, or so they reported, let's talk about let's stay on Johnson & Johnson for a minute.
Okay.
They reported, I think it was at the first time when they suspended that rollout, I think it was maybe 6 or 7 deaths or something like that.
Yeah.
Just ask yourself this question alone. What makes you think, or why do you trust so much that those are the real numbers?
Yeah. Yeah, there may be more.
Do you not think that there could be more?
There may be more.
What makes you what gives you such? Did you go out and do the research? Did you look into the database and input those records into whatever system of record there was for the healthcare system? Did you do all that information? No, you are trusting the words of somebody else. It's not you that's doing that. It's not you. And so you are blind. You are just saying, I trust what they're telling me. Even though we know just from the George Floyd case that just got a resolution a couple weeks ago, we know that the police department basically was trying to cover that up and made a whole fabrication. And had it not been for the video, we would not have known what really happened. What makes you think that only happens in the criminal justice system? What makes you think that only happens in the healthcare system? I mean, in the criminal justice, that happens in the healthcare system too. Absolutely. That happens in all areas of life that we deal with in this country as black people that have to deal with racism and oppression.
Yeah.
It's
very evident in every sector of life. That much is true. And even just the point of you breaking it down to saying the number of deaths, of course it may be more than 6 or 7, but let's just think about logically. That's still too many.
That's too many.
That's still too many, because now that they've resumed allowing people to get the Johnson & Johnson, and they put a message on it saying, take it your own risk because it may cause blood clot.
They got the message on the Johnson & Johnson like how they got the message on a pack of Black & Milds or some cigarettes.
Like
Surgeon General.
Like some squares.
On something that's supposed to be medicinal. For your medicinal benefit, for the benefit of the anatomy of the blood, your blood and cells and arteries and organs of your body. There is a warning on it.
A warning label on it.
Guys.
Like, let's be real.
Come on, man.
Let's be real. Does that make it okay because they put a warning label on it? Really? Does it make it okay now? No, it does not. No, it does not make it okay.
You got to stop and think, people.
But we're not going to keep allowing them to use us as guinea pigs. Like, at some point, we have to stand up and be like, you know what? This is not right. This is not making sense. It is not the best decision for my family. And I won't get caught up in the middle of this.
Yeah.
I won't get caught up in these numbers that y'all trying to prove. Do your research elsewhere. I'll sit back and watch. I'll pay attention to what's going on. Now, mind you, what Hamp and I are both saying that, of course, we're going to still continue to social distance. We're still going to continue to wear our masks.
Yeah, we wear our masks.
We wash our hands and with hand sanitizer.
Been washing my hands.
Been doing all of that. But at the same time, and of course, protecting our families. Yeah. We're not just vicariously saying go out there and be wild and make all of these selfish decisions without thinking about the care of other people. But what we are saying is, obviously, the healthcare system does not care about our people.
No.
And it's evident in the way that they're moving. It's evident in the decisions that they're making. And it's evident in the way that they're trying to force the C-19 vaccination upon us and then try to put it in front of us almost like a music label trying to get they CD off, trying to get their style.
Yeah.
Like,
real.
Look who's doing it now. Oh, look
like it's a dance or something. Like it's a fad.
Yeah. The other day, the NFL draft, I kid you not, they made it a point to constantly say, I heard it at least 4 times.
Yeah, I
During
remember
the
that.
NFL draft, they say, and guess what? The people that's standing down below, they can all gather together because they have all gotten their vaccinations. like
that supposed to make me feel jealous or something.
Guess what? These people can join together. They can be.
They can hug each other.
They can hug each other because they got their vaccine. You can't. Like you just got booted out the boys' club.
You can't hug one another, listeners, if you haven't been vaccinated. That's what that message was saying. It was like so.
You can't be amongst.
It was so trivial yet so deceptive. I was like, what?
Very deceptive.
Like I said, you really got to, and this is why, like, just on a conscious level, period, we got to go a little higher. We have got to rise higher to have, and I pray for the spirit of discernment all the time. Absolutely. For my people, because you have got to be able to discern between the news and the narrative right now. Because the news is the news.
Exactly.
But then you got to also pay attention to what's the narrative.
Yeah.
Journalism is not just journalism anymore. It's not just biased. It's opinionated. It's not like you just getting this objective journalism where they just giving you the data and the stats without the opinion. Or they were giving you an opinion. There is a narrative. There is an agenda. So you have to separate the narrative and the news. But it's just like Klassi was saying, like with the thing with the NFL, like look at how hard they going with this stuff to like kind of, I guess, stir up some envy.
Right.
Vaccine envy or something. Right. You know what I mean?
They kept showing the camera like, look at all those people outside. They couldn't come in. But look at all of the ones that's down here below.
They the chosen ones.
They're the chosen ones. They're vaccinated, so they can gather together.
Yeah.
They can be in close proximity amongst one another. But it's like, really, can they?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me that there's no stats, there's no data, there's no numbers out there where anybody that have taken the vaccination has not caught it? Is that what you're telling me?
But they're not going to report that.
But they're not going to report.
They're not going to put the numbers. That's why I say you got to pay attention to the agenda. You got to pay attention to the narrative.
Absolutely.
They're not going to anybody answer me this question right here. Tell me right now, who has watched the news and seen where on the news they're telling you out of 1,500 people who took the vaccine, only 3 caught the virus. Again, they're not even telling you. They're not, because they don't want you to know. They don't want you to know how many people who've taken it still got it. They don't, because that goes against the agenda.
Yeah.
It's like writing a persuasive essay. Yeah. If I'm writing a persuasive essay, I got my thesis, I got my points, I got boom, 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 I got my bullets. I'm not gonna hit you with the stuff that's going against what I'm trying to persuade you. What I'm trying to sell you. That don't make no sense.
Right.
Come on. But that's what they're doing. They're not, you're not gonna see that on news. That's why the whole message of this right here, and this ain't about to be a long one.
Yeah.
But the whole message of what we saying right here is begin to adopt the mindset of independent verification. You know, an independent thought. You know, like how a lot of times when these cases happen where there's like an unlawful shooting of an unarmed black man or black woman, right? The first thing that a lot of people in the community do, they'll say, we want this out of the hands of the local DA and into the hands of an independent investigator. Because the independent investigator is not supposed to come in and not be biased.
Right.
And not have all that implicit bias and stuff towards the situation because they're not emotionally involved.
Right.
You us as people, you cannot depend on your council people, your government. You have to do it for yourself and for your family.
Yeah.
You have to have that same mindset. I have to independently investigate,
yep.
research, and verify this stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't take what they saying willy-nilly.
Yeah.
And I cannot be caught up in the fear-mongering of it. Fear is a powerful emotion.
And when you're doing your research, you got to also pay attention to the history.
Yeah.
Pay attention to how they have moved before. Like you were saying in the beginning, Tuskegee experiment, sterilization of black women, all of the things that we have seen them do in past time.
Yeah, like
the stripes ain't changed, so it's very important that you pay attention to
school to prison pipeline, mass incarceration, the crack epidemic. That was an attack on our health. Come on,
polio vaccine. I mean, all of the above. But you still want to Gila experiments. Henrietta Lacks using her cells even after her death. So what we're saying is, even when you're doing your independent investigation, if you don't know where to start way back then. Pay attention to the history. Pay attention to how they move, the patterns.
The patterns.
Just like
a tiger don't change its stripes.
It's it.
You can go back there and look back then. Even when I'm even thinking about like how
to see how they move.
The over prescribing of like Ritalin and other ADHD medications for black boys.
Absolutely.
They wanted to put me on Ritalin when I was a kid because they said, "Oh, he too hyper and stuff like that." My mom was like, "No way, no dice."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not happening, and it's like that's something that's still going on today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We talking 1989.
Yeah.
I just told y'all my age, whatever. I don't care. But this is
you didn't give an age. You just said when they tried to put it on you. Obviously, you had to be of some age if you was old enough for them to know. Yeah, but
and even stuff like that, you got to understand and know that those things affect us differently than other people. Exactly. We might all be the same, but there's a reason we got this melanin in us. Exactly. This melanin, there's something about this melanin that it is different.
Say that.
You cannot compare apples to oranges in this case, y'all. You can't do it. There are medicines, there are lotions, there are products, there are all type of there's foods. Things affect us differently than other people.
Yep.
That don't look like us.
Talk about it.
That don't have melanin in their skin. They literally affect us differently in adverse ways.
Yeah.
For real. The data is out there to show this.
Mm-hmm.
The data is out there to show. I read somewhere like that in some vaccines that they give to babies where it's talking about like and you can do the research. You can do the research where the certain levels of mercury that are in some vaccines that they give to newborns, and the mercury, little black boys are unable to like push out the mercury and kind of like take it out of their system at a slower rate than like little white boys. And so what that ends up doing and other harmful elements, they know that they have traced it back to autism and other things like that. This is science. This is not me making this up. You can look this stuff up. You can research this stuff. Google it. You Google everything else. Google this.
Yeah. No, that's real talk.
We might all be human, but we not the same. We are not the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
no, we are not.
Like I said, this ain't for a long one. What else you got to say, Klassi? What else you got?
I'm just tell our listeners to be smart, be vigilant, and make sure that you pay attention and you take all precautions necessary, but don't get caught in the middle of doing something just because you want to get back outside, just because you have this fear and you're allowing them to play off of that. That's now causing you to make decisions and choices that are not for your best health and does not make the best decisions for you and your family. So just be smart about that. Make sure you do as much research as possible. Make sure you weigh all of your options and truly understand what it is that you're signing up for. Because at this point, it is all trial and error. We don't know what's going to come from this. We don't know what the results will be. We don't know what the outcome is. They are literally coming out now with boosters or saying that you're gonna have to take it every year or whatever the case may be, it's constantly changing because it's constantly in the
they
making.
don't know. They
because
practice
they don't know.
medicine.
They are practicing medicine, which means that they're putting it into practice on us.
They practice medicine.
So we
they
just
are
want to
not
be smart about that.
They're not perfectioners of medicine. They're not gods of medicine. They're not. They practice medicine. How many, straight up, let's be real. Everybody listening right now, tell the truth. If you got the vaccine, when you got it, were you thinking that this was it? I got this vaccine
now
this
I
one
can
time,
go back to living
and
my
I'll
best
go back
life.
to live my best life. But when the news came out and said, "Oh, now we're gonna have to treat the vaccine like the flu vaccine,"
right?
And you got to get it every year or get a booster shot or a pill. I read an article the other day that said might be a pill, might be a booster shot, might be a patch. I'm like, well, that's a lot of mites.
Yeah,
that's a lot of mites right there. How many of y'all, when y'all got it, did y'all think that was one and done, like a chicken pox or a meningitis or something like that?
Yeah.
Tell the truth now. You probably thought it was one and done, or the one shot in the second. You didn't think you was going to have to do this every year.
Yeah.
You got to think.
It's too uncertain. It's too uncertain.
It's too uncertain. You got to think and understand that doctors, God bless them for the work that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, I'm not. This is not to degrade
or demise the work
that
they are doing.
Doctors do and the nurses do. God bless y'all.
Be careful in trusting the work that they're doing. We're not trying to demise what efforts they're putting in. All we're saying is be mindful, be smart, and think for yourself, and make sure that this decision is the one that you truly need to make in this moment. And don't make it off of fear. Don't make it off of panic, and don't make it off of all of these
paranoia,
and all of these uncertain truths about, okay, well, now you can go back outside, now you can travel, and now you can be around your older family members, and now if you have any underlying conditions, you don't have anything to worry about. It's like, well, technically it's not true, and it's not set in stone, and it hasn't been enough research done to even prove it yet. There hasn't even been enough research done to prove it.
It hasn't been around long enough to prove it.
Absolutely. You don't know what this is going to do to your body a couple of months down the line. A lot of people were having symptoms, they said, the next day or between 6 days to 14 days. The couple of women that ended up catching those blood clots and passing away. My condolences to their family. The same thing. You don't know after time what this is going to do. You don't know how your body is going to react to it because it's something that is being made in the moment.
Yeah,
it's being made in the moment.
Yeah, they're gonna cherry pick this one and say what they want to say, but like Klassi was saying, it's being made in the moment. And something that, as you were saying that, you know what I thought about? Think about how often you don't see as much of them no more, but you'll still see them. And I shouldn't be laughing, but it's just, at some point it becomes comical because it's like, we got to be smarter than this. When you see them commercials and it be like, do you or anybody you know worked at a plant where there was asbestos in the walls and you might be entitled to compensation for da. Yeah. Now at the time when them workers, whether that was in the 80s or the 90s, was working in these walls and the asbestos was there, they were saying, oh, it's safe, it's fine, just wear this little mask and you good outfit, or something. Wear this hazmat outfit, you good. Yeah. And 10 years later, them people got cancer and messed up and all type of disease and stuff, right? Yeah. And that's just one example. Y'all know how you know how you be seeing the commercials that be on it. It'll be something like, y'all, it's going to be the same way 10, 15 years from now. Yeah. You or somebody you know had COVID back in 2021 and they said if you did this and that, they'd be fine. Well, you might be entitled to da. Right. You got to understand this is a developing science. Even a scientist, even a true scientist or a data analyst will tell you, if they're honest with you, there's not enough information out there
to make
the predictive modeling and really do trend lines and things like that and show all of this stuff in a way that really would satisfy true data integrity and quality and metrics for them to make some of the decisions that they're making.
Right.
And they know that.
Yeah.
They know that.
Yeah.
But they banking and understand that you don't know that.
You don't know that.
You don't know that. And you are getting caught up in your fear and paranoia things and just moving or whatever.
Yeah. And also don't forget that with most data, the truth of the matter is there's a particular sample that they're going after. There's a particular, like you said earlier, there's a result that they're looking for. So of course, most of the data that they provide is going to steer them in that direction because that's what they want it to be anyway.
Yeah, that's a part of the agenda.
Anyway, that's part of the agenda. That's the propaganda. So of course, most of the information that they provide is going to look as if it's trending in that direction, that it's providing everything that people need, that they have seen enough positive results of people being amongst one another and nobody having a C-19 and people feel safer, people are healthier. Of course, it's to get the economy back up and moving. So it's a lot of other underlying things that's going on that we need to also pay attention to and know exactly why they're pushing and forcing this vaccine the way that they are. Don't think that it's simply because they want all of us to be better and healthier.
Don't think it's,
because if that was the case, then they'd make a lot of changes on the food, on the products, on the produce, and on everything else that we out here dealing with, pesticide, but that's another conversation. So just be careful and be mindful that it's not just because they want to make sure that this C-19 goes away and that we're healthier and our bodies are able to combat it. That's not their ultimate goal.
That's not the ultimate goal. You gotta, you hit the nail on the head, Klassi. It's not just on some stuff where it's like, oh, they just care about us so much,
right?
And they want us to all get back healthy,
and get back to our normal lives. Yeah. But live your best life.
Live your best life. I ain't nobody doctor. I ain't do what you got to do.
I'm
and like I said,
continue to live mine.
I am not a doctor. So you do whatever is best for you and what you feel like is best for your family. But just please, just ask yourself some questions. Sit down and have the conversation. Don't get caught up. Fear can make you make some irrational decisions.
Yeah.
And it's a scripture, and I hope I don't mess it up. It's a scripture in the Wisdom of Solomon that says something like, fear is nothing more than the betrayal of the hope that reason offers. Fear is nothing more than the betrayal of the hope that reason offers. So think
about that.
Think about that for a minute. I want you to think about that.
Yeah, that's real talk.
There's a reason in your mind that there's some hope or some help there that will get you over that fear. But your paranoia and stuff, it just makes you completely betray and go away from that reason that you know is there, whether from past experience or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I hope I don't butcher this one then, because then Scarface says my mind playing tricks on me. That's the only thing. That's it. My mind playing tricks on me, which means that there is this paranoia that's keeping you from knowing what you know.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Hey.
But I hope the streets know that one.
Hey.
That one. But wait a minute. One more I want to leave. One more. We gonna, like I said, we gonna wrap this up.
Gonna strike a match.
This one for. But this, like I know what some people out there listening and thinking. I'm so glad y'all did this. And this is for y'all. But even for the ones that's not, you gonna say what you say. You gonna take it how you gonna take it. I really don't care. I gotta say what I feel like y'all's putting on my heart. Yeah. I'm going to read this out to you. Isaiah chapter 8, verse 12.
Okay.
Do not say a conspiracy concerning all that this people call a conspiracy, nor be afraid of their threats, nor be troubled. A lot of times, anytime somebody that's not a part of the major news media or the major news networks or a major political body or whatever comes out and introduces any type of information that's contrary and opposition to what is being flooded.
Exactly.
Oh, y'all some conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a conspiracy. Yeah. No. Isaiah 8:12 just told you, do not call a conspiracy everything these people call a conspiracy.
Exactly.
And do not be afraid of their threats nor be troubled. So think about that for a minute. Think about that.
There you have it. There you have it. Well, I hope that this was very helpful to you guys. I hope that you got enough information to where now you can think critically for yourself and make the best decisions and choices for your family, as we will be doing the same. And I just hope that everybody understand that we're not trying to we ain't trying to move you one way or the other.
No,
we just
no.
want you to be able to think critically for yourself, and also know that a lot of the information that's being forced down our throats and being thrown out there, it may not necessarily be what's best for us. That's all we're saying. But continue to be safe, continue to do what's necessary, and also make sure that you continue to lift up those that have been affected by the C-19.
And continue to listen to the Striker Match podcast.
This your girl, Klassi Lady.
It's your boy, J Hamp.
Love you guys. Peace.
We out.